Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are looking at my motto of waste not, want not. Now, you know, one of my favourite dies is the Meadow dies. And because they have these beautiful, beautiful dies that we've done a lot of colouring with, all sorts of different ideas. And today, after me cutting out the dies and things, what I had over, which I did turn around and say we'd do something with, and I always try and to do that. So this is what we cut out, and we were left with these stencils. So I've got some butterflies, I've got you know, a bit of a flower, I've got a bit of a leaf one on here, I've got the top of a flower here and a little bit of a flower there, and I've got the flower there. And we're going to use these as stencils this time. So again, it's the waste not, want not. And I was saying that when I was sponging and doing things with the flowers, there were some lovely patterns left. So I thought that we would take our sponge daubers. We're not going to use any inks at all, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to take, let's take this sort of leafy one first, and I'm just going to put it across, and I'm going to take some sponge daubers because there's always ink left on them, and I'm literally just going to sponge over these, and these are, I'm using no extra ink at all. Doesn't matter even if it moves a bit, which it has done, because these are quite light stencils, so they're, you know, you've got the pieces and things that have come off, and we're not worrying about that. We're just using little bits. So when we think we've got one colour finished, we can just take another bit of colour, and you can see you've got bits coming through. So this one is going to be a little bit lighter green, and again I'm literally using the stencil, which is going to be thrown away afterwards. So you can see the lovely leafy pattern coming through on here. Maybe take some up in on here, like that. And then we'll take some in on here. And once I want it really pale and pastel. That's why I'm not using any more of my ink. So I'm just going to take a look and see. This is going to be an old olive. Let's see if I've got anything left on the old olive. Because as I say, you always have stuff left on. And it'll just give a little bit of extra colour before you throw this away. So it's using up things that you would turn around and go, normally throw that away, don't even think about it. But look at this. Look at how that's really subtle but beautiful in there. So I'm going to take another, I think that's another bit of green on here. Let's see how this one is. So these are all different greens that I've got. And it really doesn't matter. It's what you've got left on your sponges, what you've got left on your sponge daubers. Another bit of green on here. See if I've got anything on that one. Don't need too much because we're going to be doing some flowers and things on top, but maybe just a little bit in on there. And that's a different colour again. So you can see how beautiful that is. And all I've used is this mask. That's going to go in the bin afterwards. But before we do that, we're making sure we're using everything. Okay, so flowers. I've got this one, and I've got this one, and I've got the little flower on there. So I think I'm going to use this one next, and maybe put that up there. And let's do this in, these are sort of oranges and pinks. Let's see how they work out. Because we're literally just taking, oh, that's pretty. Just taking these little pieces like this to create a background. And this is really when I say, you know, waste not, want not. We're not wasting anything at all. We're literally using the end parts of these stencils. Ever such a pretty colour, and we're not using any ink at all. It's whatever we've got left on our sponge daubers. or on our blending brushes before we clean them off, you know, instead of cleaning them on some paper. Look at that, it's beautiful. Really like that. Let's try and see if we can have something that's a little bit redder on here. I'm going to take this flower now, I think. Let's see what's quite a big one. I might take this little one here. See what that's going to come out like. Oh yes, that's pretty, isn't it? So again, you know, use what you want. Don't think, oh, I'm going to use a very big one. I'm just using little tiny pieces here. And literally just what's on the left on my sponge daubers. So I like this little flower as well. That looks a really pretty one. I think that that will work quite nicely in some little spaces. And sometimes you won't have hardly anything on your sponge dauber at all. So, and these are all sort of slightly different colours, but they are working quite well to just give some little bits on there. Let's take a purple, shall we? Do I want to take... Yeah, I'm going to take another one of these flowers and see what that purple does. Oh, yes, that's quite nice, isn't it? And we'll take that out like that. I'm going to take this one again. I do like this. I think that that looks really quite pretty in the colours. I'm going to put something up on here. And this has got the blue. So it's either going to be like a Orchid Oasis or any one of those. And this just gives a tone, and everyone's going to be different because it depends what you've got on your sponge daubers, but you can see how it's just starting to look really rather pretty in there. Okay, so we've got those shapes. Now there's another down on here. I quite like this sort of leaf thing on here, but I don't necessarily think I'll have it as a leaf. This is the Tahitian Tide. Let me just see what that's going to look like, just a little bit in there. Oh yes, that's pretty, isn't it? So I'm just adding a little bit in on there. Lovely little sort of speckledy bit coming through. I do like that. Have a little bit up in on here. See what that, yes, I think that is, how beautiful is that looking? Oh, just think that that's stunning. It's really my sort of thing. Now we've got the butterfly, haven't we? Do I want to do something as big? I don't think I want to do something as big as the butterfly. You could do, but this is all very tiny. I'm going to do some more of these little ones, I think. And I don't know quite what colour I'm going to do. I've done purples and pinks. I don't think I've done this one, which I think is a more sort of orangey one. We'll see. I'm just going to put this here. Just see how that's going to come up. It's more of the pinky one again, isn't it? Which is quite nice. But it's nice when it's changed. I'm going to do another sort of pinky flower, maybe down in the middle of here. Like that. I think that's probably it. I don't think I really want to do too much more. I think that that's just going to work. But you can see how beautifully subtle that is. Now I did have, this is my blending brush. And I was going to show you that you could if you wanted to. So here's some fresh freesia, because I know fresh freesia is quite pale. And I don't want anything too dark on this to you know, ruin what we've got. So I'm going to just take a little bit of the fresh freesia on here, and then we'll take this, let's do one just up here in the corner. So you can do on here just a little bit of that in there, and then take that out. And you can see on there how that sort of come. It's a little bit more, I I'm taking some of the outside of what's already on there, so it's not quite so purple. But you can see you've got the colours coming through. I need to match that up with something, so I'm going to have to do something down on here, I think, and take that across, because otherwise it's you can see how that sort of matched up a bit. I wanted it to balance, but you will get darker colours if you use full strength. If you want this real pastel, then just use what you've got. So I think that that's beautiful. You could just literally stamp a sentiment on and have it as a one layer card. However, I thought that we would work with a card base. So we've got a card base. I've got black cardstock, which I've die cut a flower out of. I thought we could put that on there like that, because that really picks it up. Put one of the die cuts in just right up on the centre, and then put a sentiment along the bottom. I'm really loving this sentiment. I'm using it a lot because I've got a lot of friend cards. Just put that in underneath. And then you've got a very simple, easy card that that just looks beautiful, because, you know, just stick that down and, you know, you've got a beautiful card. You could change the colours up. You could pick up any one of these colours and just do a die cut out like that. I quite like the silhouette on it, but I think it's a beautiful way of using up what you've got, and literally the whole of this background has not used anything at all. It's literally scrap pieces that we were going to throw away anyway because we've die cut them out. So it doesn't necessarily need to be these. Any die cuts that you've got, before you throw them away, think of the shapes. Think, can I use that? And there you are. We've created a lovely card. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.